Welcome to Next Point Wins, down here in the turntable room. I'm your host, Matt Julian. I'd like to hello and welcome to Next Point Wins. Students here at Purdue University, listeners around the country, thanks for coming in. Take off your shoes, stay a while. We got a full hour of sports talk. Hello and welcome into Next Point Wins. I am your host, Matthew Geely. Special thanks to Dirty Randy and the boys for the beautiful show intro throughout the entire year. Decided to put in a couple clips from our very first two episodes we've ever done here at Next Point Wins. I went back into the archives, picked up some old audio, and decided to put a couple intros into the intro. So now we're live here on WCCR Purdue and the Tuned In app. My name is Matthew Geely, and welcome into Next Point Wins. Our final hour of the semester here inside the turntable. So take off your shoes and stay a while. We got a lot of fun activities and topics to cover on the show today. I'm glad everybody is here and ready to roll. I got the Brainy Bunch in the back. The guys in the back room have been working hard all day, getting ready for the show. Listeners on the podcast, welcome as well. If you missed any of the prior shows, go back, check them out at Next Point Wins on YouTube or SoundCloud. You can find all my episodes there. And I'm excited. We got some year in review topics to cover. We have some looking ahead to the summer and things to look out for this summer, as well as the eve of the draft. I'll break down some of the top players that we should see go on Thursday night and who I think are some of the best players for each position and some teams who they should draft. We'll get to that coming up. Also, we'll talk about the NHL Playoffs and the NBA Playoffs. But I want to start out with a little recap. Hopefully everybody had a great Grand Prix weekend, a Grand Prix week, really. I hope everybody had a lot of fun. I sure know I did. I hope most of you made it out to the race. It was a great crowd. It was a beautiful day for racing. It was like in the lower 60s, upper 50s. Sun was shining. Not too hot, not too cold. It was a beautiful day to sit out there and watch these young phenoms race around the track. Special shout out and congratulations to Jared Thomas, the driver of the number 2 IUPUI Motorsport car, on winning the race. We could tell from about lap 105 and on that he was by far the fastest car out there. So it was just a matter of him staying out of trouble and doing what he needed to do. But there was no doubt who was the fastest car. It was definitely him. He was moving around that track. You could tell from the get-go. So special congrats to him. Hopefully everybody had a lot of fun and hopefully everybody's fully recovered on this dead week and everybody's getting ready for the home stretch here as we get into finals. It's a beautiful day outside today. Finally, we got some warm weather. If you're looking for something to do this evening, got doubleheader softball starting at 4 p.m. out at Bittinger Stadium. They play at 4 and 6:30, taking on IU. And then on the other side of town against IU, the baseball team tonight. That game can be seen on ESPN Plus. Or out at Alexander Field. That game starts at 7 tonight. Beautiful night for baseball. It's $2 midweek matchup, so $2 hot dogs, beers, and nachos. Get out there, get some food to eat, and enjoy some baseball. I sure know I will be. I'm working the softball game, so I'll be out at Bittinger Stadium, and then hopefully softball keeps moving right along and do this doubleheader, and I'll be able to head over for the second half of the baseball game. So hopefully I'll see all of you out there. All right, so NFL draft. I want to start there because it was interesting. This morning, I didn't have class this morning. It's dead week, so a lot of classes are canceled. All you students here on campus are aware of that. Normally, I have 2 classes before my show today, but I had nothing on the schedule this morning, so I was like, well, you know what? I'll get up at a decent hour, not too early, get some work done, maybe prepare a little bit for the show, get some things ready, and then we'll head in. Well, my morning was quickly changed because I was no longer just able to sit and work. I was flipping through the channels, watching a little Get Up, which is not a great show on the mothership. I'm going to be honest, it's not really good at all. I watched it for like 3 seconds. I was like, this is not for me. I was gonna load up the DP show, but I needed to get to my laptop to do that. But I wanted to work on the show for today, so priorities, didn't do that. So I'm flipping through the channels real quick, and then that Paramount, like the stars going over the mountain or whatever, basically the sign that a movie's about to start. I'm like, well, I'll see what movie's on. So I wait, and they get through all the intros, and then it starts playing. It's Draft Day. Great movie. Great time of the year to watch it. I was captivated. I saw it in the theaters, and I don't know if I'd seen it since then. And there's a lot of it that I forgot. That movie came out in 2014. There's parts of it that I forgot. I almost couldn't remember what happens at the end. So I was just captivated by that. So I watched that all morning while I was getting ready for the show. Jennifer Gardner, by the way, in that movie, fantastic. Really, really good. Kevin Costner, always good. He played really well. I mean, and then you had tons of cameos. I mean, you had Berman and Mel Kiper. Deion Sanders was in it. Mike Mayock. They were there. Anthony Rizzo was even in it. So Terry Crews, it was a lot of star-heavy cast and great movie, really good. So I watched that this morning, and it got me thinking. Obviously that's completely made up, but in a lot of ways, this year's draft is very similar. And not only that, but it gave me a great idea. And I know a lot of times I give great ideas on this show, and they never happen. This is another one that will never happen, but it would be cool if each team had a station or an online stream from 9 a.m. on draft day to the conclusion of the first round. And it was just raw video. Like 4 cameras in each war room, and it's just raw video. Now, you can't do that because of the competitive advantage and other teams watching and the stuff that people say. But if you do it online, you can get away with that part. I find it fascinating. I don't know how real draft day was as far as the banter that goes on in that war room and how it really works. But I'm pretty convinced it would be very entertaining. Like Colts fans out there, Bears fans out there, Packers fans, just Patriots fans, people in the area. What if you just had like an hour and a half to kill, and you go to chicagobears.com, click on Watch Draft Now, and it's just the war room. Nothing edited, nothing cut, live. What they're talking about, who they're talking with. I think it'd be incredibly interesting to listen to and watch. Now, like I said, it's never going to happen. But the Browns are in a very interesting position here tomorrow because they have picks, and you're at the point now where it's no longer all that funny. The Cleveland Browns, they stink. It's no longer funny like that. It's just not. It's going to get depressing, and for Browns fans out there, it probably already is really depressing. But for everybody else, it's no longer like the Browns are just the laughing stock of the NFL. It's to the point now. It's okay, this was a funny storyline for 4 or 5 years. It's time for Cleveland to do something with these picks. I mean, if this was soccer, they wouldn't even be an organization anymore. They would have been relegated, and they would have been out of here at least 3 years ago. You got the number 1 overall pick. You got the 4th pick also in the first round. You got to hit on one or both of those. You have to hit on one. Have to hit on one of the two. Now, you need a quarterback. There's no doubt about it. And I don't know if you need to take a quarterback 1, but between 1 and 4, you must take a quarterback. You just have to. You have to do it. I don't know if this quarterback class is all that good. We've really kind of been building that. Normally, when it comes to these mock drafts, and there's just so much time in between the combine, there's so much time between the end of the college season and the draft that normally you got every single one of these players absolutely picked apart. Just absolutely picked apart. That being said, it feels like we're kind of building these guys up. You don't hear a whole lot of bad things about Sam Darnold anymore, or Josh Rosen, or Josh Allen, or Baker Mayfield, or Lamar Jackson. So, and part of me feels that that's because this is not a very strong class. If I had to pick the best quarterback, in my opinion, the most for sure thing, and this isn't a list of a lot of very uncertain quarterbacks. So just because you're most for sure does not mean you're good. Let's start there. But if I had to pick the most for sure quarterback for me, would have to be Sam Darnold. Has to be. Now, I've heard that the Browns really like Josh Allen. And I've heard they really like Baker Mayfield. And I've heard they really like I've heard they've really liked all these quarterbacks because that's what it works. That's how it works. Now, when you're the number one overall pick, you can kind of say who you want to take. But the fact that they're listing off 4 or 5 quarterbacks that they really like leads me to believe that they may not take one at number 1. It leads me to believe that maybe they're going to wait till 4 to take a quarterback. Now, you might ask yourself, okay, what's the advantage or disadvantage of taking one at 1 or one at 4? Well, it starts off by you got to look at the order. So you got Browns at 1. They need a quarterback. You got the Giants at 2. Do they need a quarterback? No. Could they take one? Yes. Jets at 3. Do they need a quarterback? Yes. Browns at 4. So if you look at the teams below you until you get to 4, you got 2 teams who need quarterbacks. Jets for sure need a quarterback. Giants, 50-50 on that. So, but then you have to look at 5 through 10. Okay, how many teams there need a quarterback and might trade up and get one? Broncos, maybe. You might even see somebody as low as the Bills go up and try to get one. Cardinals should be going up and trying to get one. So it's hard. You got to love your guy at 1. You have to love him. I don't care what people say. You have to love him. Quit picking based on other people. Pick who you think is the best for your team. The best overall prospect in this draft at the quarterback position is Sam Darnold. I don't think he falls farther than 5. I don't think Darnold, Rosen, or Allen, or Mayfield, all 4 of those are for sure first-round picks. That's not a hot take. Lamar Jackson, I think, also gets into the first round. I think we'll have 5 quarterbacks go. I think 4 of the 5 are going to go in the first 12 picks. Now, if you're sitting there in the top 12 and you don't need a quarterback, your eyes are wide open. Not only that, but probably chewing on ice while I'm trying to do a talk show, not a good idea. You would think episode 32, I would get that right by now. Still don't. And the voice was gone thanks to Saturday Grand Prix, Breakfast Club, and then the race, and then after the race, and then later that night. Thanks to all that, the voice was shot. The voice was donezo, gone, see you later, all Sunday and all Monday. Yesterday, it finally started recovering. And I'm like, man, I hope I wake up this morning and it's fully back. It's fully back, but we'll see how long it lasts. As far as overall best prospect, it's got to be Saquon Barkley. I just think that he's ready to roll. He's ready to go. He's going to immediately go in and make a difference for somebody, and I really think the Giants should take him at 2. You gotta trust in Eli, and you gotta think that he at least gives you another 3 or 4 years. So at that point, I don't think anybody in this draft, quarterback-wise, jumps out at you loud enough to say, I'm going to take them, and they'll sit for a year or half a year, and then Eli's gone and they come in. I don't think there's anybody in this draft that should really sway the Giants to do that. So I think Barkley is the safe pick. It's unfortunate. It's got to be at number 2 because that's so high to take a running back. Their shelf life is so short, and there's so many running backs that can make a difference later in the rounds. I mean, you just look at teams in the past drafting running backs late and how much they've paid off. But then, I mean, you have teams like Ezekiel, like with the Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott, where you needed to go up and get somebody high, and it's worked out for them. So it goes both ways. You know, it's easy to sit here and say, but so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so got running backs in the 3rd, 4th rounds, and look at them now, like Kareem Hunt, Tariq Cohen. I mean, there's just a couple from last year that were just breakout stars, and they were late in the draft. But Barkley is a proven. He's ready to roll. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He's going to be a weapon for Eli Manning. It makes that offense look really good, really fast. He's the best prospect in the draft. As far as other ones I love Quentin Nelson, the guard from Notre Dame. I think he is really, really good, and I really hope the Bears take him. Really hope the Bears at pick number 8 get him. if he'd had, that's a long way to fall. But you have to imagine, I think 3 quarterbacks are going to go ahead of the Bears. 3 will go in the top 7 picks. So now we're starting to see these things are falling. Good players are falling. Bradley Chubb's another really good player. It looks like the Colts have a lot of interest in him. I think he's going to be really good. I'm not sold on Roquan Smith of Georgia. I'm not all in on that one. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick of Alabama is phenomenal. The safety, really good. Derwin James of Florida, safety. I think Fitzpatrick's better. Denzel Ward of Ohio State. He's okay. Then you got Rosen, Allen, Mayfield. It's interesting to see. I think that as far as top prospects go, you go Barkley, Nelson, Chubb, Ward, Fitzpatrick, and then it's a huge drop-off. So those 5 are really strong, really, really strong. And then you start getting into players that you're a little bit more iffy on. It's just not a very strong class. It's not. There's a lot of above-average defensive players in this draft. There's not a whole lot that really jump out at you aside from Chubb, Ward, and Fitzpatrick, in my opinion. So you get by those first 3, and there's a lot of uncertainty with the rest of them. And as far as the offensive side, you go Barkley, Nelson, and Darnold, and then I think it's iffy. I really do think it's iffy. I think Rosen's the most iffy quarterback in the draft. If I'm the Browns, do not take Josh Rosen. I just don't see it. I don't see him being an NFL quarterback. I don't think he's mature enough. I don't think he's proven himself, and I don't think he's got the intangibles to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Cleveland Browns, do not take Josh Rosen. Josh Allen is in the same category, but I think he has a little bit of a higher ceiling, so he's a little bit ahead of Rosen because he's big. He's got a huge arm. He's got a big frame. He's a big dude. So because of that, I'm going to give him a semi-hall pass. I mean, he's 6'5", 237. Rosen's 6'4", 226. I mean, that inch is that's a big difference. So that's why I give Allen the edge over Rosen in that category. So the quarterback who I think has the highest ceiling and is the most saucy of a pick is definitely Baker Mayfield because of what he does off the field and just his competitiveness on the field. And he's got the skill to back it up. Don't get me wrong. He's small. I'm seeing here a comparison to Russell Wilson. That's a pretty high praise there. He's good. He's probably my most he probably has the biggest ceiling of any of these quarterbacks, right up there with Darnold. But his floor is also probably the lowest, which is why I'm iffy on him too. So Darnold's my only really confident quarterback that could make an impact in this class. Mayfield right behind him because of his high ceiling and his competitive drive, and then Allen, and then Rosen, and then Lamar Jackson, and then a huge drop-off. That drop-off means that some of these teams who don't need a quarterback right away, like the Saints, the Chargers. Cardinals kind of need a quarterback right away, but I guess you could put them in that category. So teams like that, we're talking 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. There's still some quarterbacks there that can help your team. I mean, I fully expect Mason Rudolph of Oklahoma State. He'll probably won't go to the 2nd round. Same with the dude out of Richmond, Kyle Lalouette. He's Western Kentucky, Mike White. I mean, Luke Falk, Washington State. We're starting to get into some. We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel there once we get to quarterback 9. So Jackson's probably the last one who I think he's going to get in the 1st round. I think he should. You look down there at the end. I mean, that's where a lot of trades happen near the bottom. But I could definitely see somebody like the Saints taking him or the Patriots. That's interesting. They're at 31. I don't know. Depends on how this Brady thing goes. And by the way, I don't regret saying that I lose my right hand about the Brady thing, but there was a time shortly after that show where there were a lot of people, big names, also concerned around the media that he actually might be done. And I actually got a little concerned, and then people were tweeting at me, talking smack, saying that They'll hold the hand cutting. Which, by the way, I've never seen a fan base so excited to watch a guy lose his hand. Jeez. So I was a little worried, and then it all kind of backed up. Gronk now saying he's coming back. There's no way Brady doesn't play. Come on. Brady's in. I'm in. Brady's in. Everybody's in. I think I'm safe. Still hasn't committed yet. Maybe the paperwork got lost in the fax machine or something, but Brady's going to play. All right. That's a lot of draft coverage. Hopefully I didn't lose anybody there. I like the first round. I like it more when the team I'm rooting for, the Bears, is near the top because it makes it interesting. I hope they take Quentin Nelson. And if Nelson isn't there, I really hope they go with Fitzpatrick on the defensive end. Just really tighten up that secondary. Unless somebody like Chubb falls, you got to take Fitzpatrick. Denzel Ward right behind him. Either one of those guys. Fitzpatrick or Denzel Ward would be my next two picks if Quentin Nelson is not available. But if Quentin Nelson's there, I think you jump on board. You just have to. Everywhere I read and everybody I talk to and everything I see, he is the real deal. So I hope the Bears go there. Browns, I hope you go quarterback 1. It's got to be Darnold. I think you go Darnold. Maybe you don't throw him in there right away, and then you got to get him some help. So then you're looking at, okay, who do I get with my 4th pick? That's an opportunity you can trade back and grab another couple of picks, but really you don't need to. You have a lot of picks already. So I think you stay at 4, and you look at Quentin Nelson if he's still there, sitting at 4 as a nice pick, help shore up that offensive line and help protect him. You look at Bradley Chubb to help your defensive line if you need it. You look at Roquan Smith, the outside linebacker of Georgia, if you need help on that D-line. Denzel Ward. I mean, there's help to be had. I mean, and if you look at just like who needs what, the Browns, they need a quarterback to begin with, and then they just need players. They need corners. They need wide receivers. They need offensive tackles. They need defensive tackles. They need people who can come in and play, not get hurt, not be bust, not look like they don't belong out on the field. You need people who are ready to roll. So I definitely think that you go Darnold first and then probably pick up a corner. I don't see why not. Probably go cornerback, and I would have to say probably Denzel Ward of Ohio State. Just seems like the most for sure thing at the cornerback spot. All right, we're gonna step away from the draft. Got so much to cover on our last show today. You know, I heard a weird rumor that there's some kind of poll going out. People spreading rumors that over under on what time I start getting emotional about this being my last show of the year. Hopefully you guys took the over because we got a whole nother year of this nonsense. Go last show senior year and maybe you'll see me cry a little bit on air. It's not going to happen today though. I'm too fired up about what we got going in the sports world, and this is just a see you later. This is definitely not a goodbye. You guys might wish this is a goodbye, but it's just not. Sorry. NBA playoffs last night. Boston wins this. They lead the series now 3-2 after beating Milwaukee 92-87. Sixers beat the Heat and win that series 4-1. City of Philadelphia is on a roll. And then the Warriors beat the Spurs 99-91 and win that series 4-1 as well. You got a lot of NBA action tonight and what has been one of the more entertaining series of the playoffs, Indy and Cleveland. There's been two series, plural of series. There's been two sets of playoff series, we'll go there, that have been very entertaining to me. It's been Pacers, Cavs, and Miami, Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is just really fun to watch. Tonight, Pacers, Cleveland, series at 2-2, 7 o'clock TNT in Cleveland. Pacers kind of messed up. Two really slow starts at home. They got away with one of them, and then lost the last game. You had to take care of home court there because now you're going back to Cleveland, and it's not a must-win. Every year in the playoffs we go about this. You can't say must-win because it's not actually must-win. I get that. But I'm also going to say that you don't want to have to win two in a row against the greatest player in the world. especially when that last one's got to be in his place. Not a good look. If I'm Indy, I'm coming out hot. I'm coming out on fire tonight, and I really need to win this game. Really need to win this game. Oladipo, he's been a little quiet by his standards. I mean, you need him to get his 20 mid-20s, 25, 28 points. You need him to get that. LeBron's going to get his. It's probably going to be around 30. I think he probably gets up a 30-piece, but you just have to stop everybody else around him. Collison's been playing all right. You need him to keep hitting shots. Bogdanovich, he's done his job. So, I mean, you're not playing bad basketball. It's just you're taking a while to get going. So you got to get up, got to get going early if you're going to have a shot. Other games tonight, Washington, Toronto, that series is also tied 2-2. That's an 8-1 matchup. Toronto back at home, looking probably heavy favorites to win that at home and one of the best home court advantages. Utah Jazz up 3-1 on OKC is very interesting to me because I didn't think the Jazz were all that great, but Ricky Rubio and Donovan Mitchell are going off. And poor Russ, he can't find any help. Paul George, Melo, somebody send out a search party for those two because Russ needs help bad. And then Houston at home against Minnesota up 3-1. Probably a pretty good chance that Houston takes care of that series tonight. I think OKC beats Utah, stays alive. It's at home. I think they got to win that one and stay alive. And then Minnesota-Houston, I think Houston's probably well in control there. On the other side, and you got Pacers-Cavs at 7. This is probably a dual TV night because I'm telling you, there's nothing better than a Game 7 in hockey. There is nothing better. Any round, first, second, finals, does not matter. There is nothing better than a Game 7 in the NHL playoffs. And we got one tonight. And we have a good one tonight. Really good one tonight. Toronto Maple Leafs at the Boston Bruins. Boston, who I thought looked like one of the better teams in this playoffs, kind of got a little sloppy on me. They are fun to watch, though. They go up and down that rink. Wow, do they go? They just move. They really do. They are really, really, really good. But they've gotten sloppy. They have. They lost last game 3-1, and it was a game that it looked like they had complete control of it and just couldn't really do anything right. On the other side, Toronto, they're weathering the storm, and they're taking advantage of every opportunity they get. It's interesting to me because normally bad goaltending means you lose. There's been a lot of bad goaltending in this series, both sides. I mean, you got a 5-1 loss if you're Boston, first game, 5-1 loss. No, I lied. I'm confusing myself. Toronto lost 5-1 in the first game. Then they lost 7-3 in the second game. And at that point, I was all on Boston's bandwagon. I thought this was going to be a 4-0 sweep. I mean, you win 5-1, you win 7-3. Hello. Like, money in the bank. Boston couldn't do anything wrong. And then you head back to Toronto, and they win the next one 4-2. Then they lose 3-1. And, all right, so Boston's up 3-1. Man, it's looking good. Nope, Toronto goes on the road, beats Boston 4-3, and then goes back home and beats them 3-1 in what was a very emotional game following the horrible attack in Toronto earlier that day. Then to go out and play a game that night, you could tell it meant something to those players and that fan base in attendance. And they won one for their city and their country. And it was pretty cool to watch. And, I mean, Boston kind of ran into a buzzsaw, lost 3-1. So that sets up tonight, Game 7, 7:30 p.m. on NBCSN. It's a must watch, people. I mean, Game 7s are so much fun, and I think this is gonna be a really good one because Boston's a lot. They're physical, they're fast, they get up and down the ice, they put pucks on the net. Now, where they are not very good is getting back on defense because they like to bring all 5 guys to the blue line. And really, really, really pinch. And it works when you can, I mean, they just fire. But as soon as Toronto can get a stop and get the puck out to the side and get up the ice, there's a lot of plus chances for Toronto, like 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, and they've been cashing in on them. So, but Boston doesn't seem to want to change their style of play, and I don't think they're going to do anything different tonight. It's going to be high scoring, in my opinion. I think the total amount of goals scored is going to be over 5. I think you're looking at a 6-4, 5-3 final. I think Boston does get the win, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So tune in tonight for that game. Boston, Toronto, Game 7, NHL Playoffs. You just can't beat it. You can't beat it. That's the only game tonight in the NHL. Last night in the NHL, there's nothing last night either. We're almost wrapping up. Capitals did beat the Blue Jackets back on Monday, 6-3 to win that series. So you got Boston and Toronto finishing up tonight, and then you start the second round tomorrow. Pittsburgh against Washington, and what's going to be a very, very good. That's a good matchup. That's a Stanley Cup caliber matchup between two really good teams with a tons of star power. Very well could be the highlight of the playoffs. And then on the other side, another highlight of the playoffs matchup, San Jose and Vegas. Two teams that are strong favorites to represent their conference in the finals, and probably what could be a Stanley Cup final matchup. So the next round is going to be a lot of fun. It's shaping up to be a whole lot of fun. You got Ovechkin against Crosby on one side, and then you got the brand new team Vegas, and then San Jose, who nobody's talking about. They've been taking care of business too. Two teams coming off of sweeps in their respective opening series. I mean, San Jose took care of the Ducks in real fast fashion. Really, the Ducks never got going. As San Jose beat them 3-0, 3-2, 8-1, 2-1. See ya, you're going home. So very exclamation point-esque series for the Sharks. And then on the other side, Vegas, they didn't mess around either. Beating LA 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, 1-0. Winning a lot of close games against LA. One of them being in overtime. So Vegas, it's different. It's like two different teams. Vegas, not known for scoring a lot of goals, but playing good defense and good goaltending. And then on the other side, San Jose, they like to get up and down the ice, and they like to score. And that goalie, Dylan Ferguson for Vegas, and then you got Marc-Andre Fleury, two really good goalies. And they've been up to the challenge so far this season, kind of going back and forth. They've both played quite a few games. Fleury is the starter. He went 29-13, so really, really good. It'll be fun to watch. Looking forward to it. All right, man, time's flying. If you're just joining us, welcome to Next Point Wins, half past the hour here. Students around campus, hello. How you doing? Hopefully Dead Week's going well for you. It's going great for me. Thanks for asking. We got unsportsmanlike conduct coming up next. Had a couple. I made a homework assignment last week for you guys to send in your unsportsmanlike conducts, and we got quite a few sent in. So I'm excited to fire them away. Also got a little segment I'm working on where just kind of go over some of the top summer games to play. These are some that I have found. Feel free to tweet in if you're listening live on your favorite game to play during the summer. For instance, like some people like to play volleyball. Some people like to play cornhole. I mean, just outdoor fun games to play. Send them in. We'll get them on the show. I got my own list. I'd love to compare notes with some of my listeners out there live. We'll make that happen. All right. We got to keep moving here. Got to keep it rolling. I want to do unsportsmanlike conduct. Let's get it going. Here it is. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
And now, an unsportsmanlike conduct.
Personal foul, number 15, unsportsmanlike conduct.
That's a horrible call!
All right, unsportsmanlike conduct for the day. The last unsportsmanlike conduct of the semester. And man, I might cry. Somebody out there at home who has 12:35 in the pool should be getting fired up because I'm getting emotional. All right, unsportsmanlike conduct. First one comes to us from. Oh, he didn't give his name. Who was it? Man, I should have had this prepared. They emailed it to me. No, they tweeted it at me. I don't know where he's from. We'll call him from Purdue. Josh from Purdue sends in, hey, Matt, last year I remember you talking about NFL Combine, people are not passing drug tests. I got another one for you. Check out Antonio Callaway. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go see what happened to Antonio Callaway. So I go and I look. Boom. Wide receiver prospect Antonio Callaway tested positive for marijuana at the Combine. Well, that's not ideal. I've never understood how this happens, and this is gonna get me fired up. I already know it's going to. How do you not pass a marijuana test at the Combine? Do you not know you're going to the Combine? First question. Do you not know that they test for marijuana at the Combine? Second question. Do you not know that if you smoke marijuana before going to the Combine and it shows up on the test, you're going to get in trouble? Third question. I don't get how this happens. How are you that addicted to weed to where you can't put it down for a week? Actually, I don't really know how long marijuana stays in your system. It can't be more than like a month. You're telling me you can't avoid smoking weed for a month before this Combine? Antonio Callaway is wide receiver at Florida. He's considered as talented as any wide receiver in this week's draft. Awesome. Tested positive for marijuana at the Combine. His new agent said that it was for a diluted sample. Diluted sample is treated as a positive test. So basically, he chugged an insane amount of water, and they made his sample diluted, so it was hard to tell. Not a great sign. Oh, his agent was just hired 2 weeks ago. Welcome to the brand. Hopefully, you're having fun. He parted ways with his former agent. That's a great sign. Everything's pointing in Cleveland Browns. Check this guy out. Everything's pointing in the right direction for you guys to take him here. Viewed second day pick only because of his previous incidents off the field. In 2015, a Florida student accused him of sexually assaulting her, but Title IX hearing officer cleared him of wrongdoing. Okay. What else we got? He's one of the 9 Florida players last season who allegedly used stolen credit card information to fund bookstore accounts. He was cited for misdemeanor marijuana possession and possession of drug equipment during a traffic stop in May 2017. Wow. We got quite the record going here. Man. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Get off the weed. Get off the weed. You know you're going to the draft. You got to give people second chances, and he's going to get one. Some team's going to give him a shot. But you got to know that that's not going to work out. Be better. Just be better. Unsportsmanlike conduct, Antonio Callaway, for not knowing that they test for marijuana at the draft. If you smoke marijuana before said draft, you'll get caught. Number 2, this one is from Bob from Cromwell. Loyal listener, Bob from Cromwell. Thanks for contacting the show. He sent in a really hysterical video and story. A Michigan high school golfer was attacked by a goose, and the photos went viral, and they did. They were all over Twitter, everywhere. Couldn't scroll through a page without seeing these photos, and it's hysterical. The first one is of the kid running, and the goose is behind him, in the air, flying towards him. And, they can't. Well, they can fly. Why did I just think that they didn't fly? They can fly. But he's about shoulder high with him, right behind him. Next photo, kid is on ground, goose above him in the air, about ready to maul him. Third photo, kid is like on his back, and the goose is like, he's ripping into his backside, and the kid it's not looking good for him. Here's the backstory. Isaac Coling of Concord High School fell into the what did he do? He was playing in the Madison tournament at Wolf Creek Golf Course in Adrian. His group was walking down the fairway on hole 7 when they strolled by a goose nest to the left. Turns out the goose was guarding the nest and was having none of them walking by. And so Devin Pitts of Blissfield was in the right place at the right time to catch the moment. He's the one who captured the photos. The photos shared by Blissfield's Athletics Twitter account got the attention of the PGA of America, which shared in a post, though geese can be beautiful when watching them fly in flocks, the truth is they can be a real nuisance to golfers, and that's without them attacking golfers. Later, somebody asked, that's hilarious, hopefully he's not hurt, and they responded, just his pride was hurt. You would think that I'd give the unsportsmanlike conduct to the goose. I'm not going to, because that's just too easy. The unsportsmanlike conduct's going to this kid. Here's why. The photo shows that he sees this goose coming. The goose is about 5 yards away, mad, honking, flying towards him. He's starting to run. So he knows there's going to be a problem. I got a bag of 9 weapons that can protect me. Now, I'm not out here saying that we should go around and whacking geese. That's not who I am. I'm not that guy. But if this thing's mad at me and it's about ready to maul me like the photos show, you best believe I'm getting out a 7-iron. I'm going to see how he likes that. I'm swinging it. And if he's still coming at me, he's going to taste it. You're telling me that an 8-iron or a nice little sand wedge isn't going to keep this goose from just mauling me? Where's the instincts, man? I get it, it's in the moment, but you're literally carrying a bag of weapons that can help you stay away from this geese. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge geese guy. Funny story, actually. Well, I guess I don't know if it's funny. It's funny now. It wasn't funny at the time. So my grandma, she used to live on a pond, and we loved to go out and feed the ducks. I mean, she would I don't know how she always had moldy bread. You know, it's just kind of coming to me. She always had bags of moldy bread that we'd go feed to the ducks, which also, is that bad for the ducks? Don't know, but we did it. Hopefully that's not a horrible thing for the ducks. We're not duck killers, but no, seriously, as I sit here and think about it, I don't know why she had so much moldy bread. She must not eat a lot of bread, but she always had some. Part of me thinks that she might have just got the bread because she knew we'd come over and feed them, and it would go moldy before we'd get there, and then, all right, I'm getting way sidetracked on this. Anyways, she used to go down and sit by the pond and just watch the ducks and stuff because she's an old lady and they have a lot of free time. That's what she would do. One time, she was walking away and she got attacked by a goose. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get the plural singular form of geese goose wrong 40 times in the story. Just let it go. You know what I'm talking about. Jeez. Anyways, she would see these things, and one of them tried to attack her. And it got her, and it hit her with its wing, I would imagine. It didn't really peck her, I don't think, but it got her with its wing. And once old ladies bruise easily, another thing I don't really know why that's a thing, but it's definitely a thing. Old ladies bruise. I'm sure old guys do too, but I know for a fact grandmas bruise very easily. She had a bruise on her leg that was disgustingly huge and very it got her pretty good. And I wasn't there, thank goodness, so I'd probably be scarred for life. But I can't even imagine my little old grandma trying to run away from a goose that's trying to attack her. It fired me up at the time. I was too young to really do anything about it. But when I heard the story and I saw the bruise, I felt pretty bad for her. So I get how this can happen. But she didn't have a bag full of weapons on her back that she could pull out a 9-iron and say, what's up? She didn't have that. She probably couldn't even carry a bag. So I guess, you know what, we always do life lessons on this story. Here's some life lessons for you. One, why do old people have moldy bread? A lot of it. I'm talking loaves of it. She had so much, and she'd freeze it. I don't get it. I don't know why she did that. I'm going to have to call my parents and figure out why that happened. I don't know why she had it, but she had bags and bags of moldy bread. 2, hopefully ducks are allowed to eat moldy bread. 3, geese are mean, especially if you get close. 4, if you have a 6-iron in your bag and one attacks you, you get out and you see how far you can hit it. And 5, unsportsmanlike conduct to this high school individual. Wow, I got 5 lessons out of that? I should be a teacher. All right, last one. Another one given to me. This one from Mike in Huntertown, another loyal listener of the show. I'm glad I could get some of these loyal listeners in before we close up shop here on what has been a fantastic year. I got to hurry up because I do have some things to get to. I got some people to thank and an announcement about the show that I'm excited to get out. So Mike from Huntertown sends me this link through email. You can email the show at nextptwins@gmail.com. And I read the headline, and I just don't get it. And then I started reading into it, and this is pretty funny. Texas man gets 50 years in prison after a scheme to steal $1.2 million worth of fajitas. I'm a big fajita guy. I'm gonna get out in front of this and say I love fajitas. Big fajita guy. Always good. Texas has some of the best food ever. Like as far as states with great food, their Mexican food, their barbecue, I already said tacos because I said Mexican food. It's good. They have really good food. And they big portions. Everything's bigger in Texas. That's not a joke. Literally, anything that you see, whether it's food, individuals, buildings, areas, whatever. You're like, wow, that could have been so much smaller. But for some reason, they felt the need to make it absolutely gigantic. It's true. This dude got 50 years in prison for stealing $1.2 million in fajita meat. 53-year-old Gilberto Ensalamilla was sentenced Friday after pleading guilty to theft by a public servant. He's been intercepting fajitas that he ordered through a Cameron County juvenile center where he worked and delivering them to his own customers. His scam was uncovered when he missed work for a medical appointment and 800 pounds of fajitas were delivered at the center that doesn't serve fajitas. He was fired in August and arrested. 50 years. You got 50 years? First off, why do you need so much fajita meat, man? That's a lot. You know, it's one of those things that started out really small, and then he just got out of control, and he's like, "This is easy money. I'm gonna keep doing it." 50 years, so he's in for life for stealing. What kind of cred do you get in a jail? I watch a lot of cop shows, so I get how it works. You go in and you get treated for the crime that you serve. I wonder what kind of cred he gets for stealing fajitas. Probably not great. It's probably below average. I can't imagine why somebody would be like, dude, that's the fajita stealing dude. Watch out for him. No, it's probably like, you did what? Unsportsmanlike conduct to him. Our last unsportsmanlike conducts of the year. It's been a ride. One last time. For everybody who's sent in for the entire year, I appreciate you. This is a you thing. This is an us thing. This is not a me thing. Unsportsmanlike conduct.
And now, an unsportsmanlike conduct.
Personal foul, number 15, unsportsmanlike conduct.
That's a horrible call!
All right, 12 minutes left in the show. I have a large announcement about the show. I'm going to get to that shortly after I got my list of top summer games. Hopefully I'm not missing any. This is in order of what I think is most fun to least fun. We're going to start with the least fun game, ladder ball. Not a big ladder ball guy. I think it's hard. I think it's kind of dumb. I think it's kind of lucky. Ladder ball would be at the bottom. Then volleyball. Water volleyball is better than sand volleyball. Sand volleyball is better than indoor volleyball. You guys got that? Water, sand, indoor. Water best, indoor worst. So if you're going to play volleyball, get in the water or the sand. Then badminton. I like badminton. A lot of fun. You can really hit it hard, and sometimes you can even catch somebody and hit them in the stomach or something. Badminton's a good time. Cornhole. It's a good game. Cornhole's fun because you can be holding a beverage in one hand and still play, and it's very relaxed. A lot of fun. It's a big deal here in Indiana and in the Midwest. And for anybody out there who calls it bags, you're weird. That's not what it's called. It's cornhole. It's not bags. I don't even know what that means. It's cornhole. Okay. Sorry. That was I really got aggressive there about that, and I really don't really. It's not that big of a deal for me, but I got fired up. Sorry. All right, two more. This is my top two. Second place is spike ball. Now, last year it kind of took off, and it was all the craze. I think it's going to be back better than ever this year as well. A lot of fun. It's a little bit more difficult. Takes a little bit more skill than any of these other games we've mentioned so far, I'd say. Volleyball, I mean, either you're good or you're not. Cornhole doesn't take a whole lot of skill. You just got to throw the thing. Badminton, I guess it's hard, but really it's not. If you have any type of hand-eye coordination, if you ever played tennis, baseball, hockey, if you ever played anything that has to do with hand-eye coordination, it's not that hard of a game to learn. Spike ball is a little different. There's quite a few rules. It's very active. There's no sipping on a beverage and playing along. It gets competitive, and if you play with the wrong guys that are like really good, it's really not that fun because you just look like you're worthless. But it's a good game, fun game. And then number one, and this has been my number one game for years. Around my circle back home, I'm kind of known for this game because it is, in my opinion, the best outdoor game to play. Hands down, no question, love it. And it's fun because just about anybody can play, no matter what age you're at. Can Jam. Can Jam is phenomenal. I'm not saying I was the first one to get Can Jam because I was not. But I was near the beginning. We got it. My mom got it for us. She saw it. She's big outdoor. She's a gamer. My whole family's a bunch of gamers. There's a lot of competitive drive in my family. I don't know if it's more the athletic side of us or the Italian side of us, but we got some gamers, and she loves Can Jam. She does love Can Jam, but she loves outdoor games, like a lot. And she got this one for us probably at least 5 years ago, probably closer to 6. I'm trying to think. I played it in high school. Probably 6 years. And we took it to Florida, played on the beach. And people were like coming up to us and like every once in a while I get somebody like, oh, I've played that game once, it's a lot of fun. But a lot of people are like, what is this game? And it looks like a lot of fun. Well, now it's a pretty big deal. Spike ball kind of took over last summer, but before spike ball, this was the thing. Can Jam's a great game. If you've never played it before, you're behind the schedule, but it's never too late to start. And if you have played before, it's fun, isn't it? I mean, there's nothing better in my opinion. So those are my top games. Hopefully I didn't miss any. I was sitting here during Unsportsmanlike kind of trying to think. I'm thinking that I got them all. I'm sure I'm missing something, and I'll get a tweet or an email later from a podcast listener or somebody who's just too nervous to tweet while I'm live on air because they know it's pretty much guaranteed if you tweet at me right now, I'm going to call you out. I can't think of any games I'm missing. Croquet. Croquet's not bad. That's probably right. That's probably ahead of ladder ball. I don't know why I put ladder ball even on this list because I really don't like that game at all. Croquet should be on here. Yahtzee. Yahtzee's not bad. It's just Yahtzee, but it's large Yahtzee pieces and you throw it in the yard. So they call it Yahtzee. It's not really that creative, but it's a game. That's all I can really think of. So we're going to stop there. So Can Jam number 1, spike ball, cornhole, badminton, volleyball, croquet, Yahtzee, ladder ball. Tweet at me. Let me know what I missed. I'll retweet if I see any that are really good. All right. Last bit of announcement / I had to get through some thanks because if I don't, it's not right of me because this is really not a one-man show. There's one guy on air every week, and he yells at you, and he laughs along with you, and he has a lot of fun. He gets on his soapbox. Yeah, that's me. I know. But it's not just me doing this show every single week, and it's important that I take the time to thank some people who have made this possible and continue to make this one of the most growing radio shows here on campus. We had our end of the year wrap up meeting last night, and that's where I'm going to begin because I want to say thank you to WCCR Purdue, Carey Club, Tuned In, for giving me this platform. I started second semester sophomore year, so this is my third semester, season 3, 33 episodes, and we're going to get to 50. Next year we're going to hit 50, and that's going to be a crazy day. But, I started way back. I lived in Cary. I saw the studio. I didn't know what it was about. I never even had an idea of doing this. And then I was at Dirty Randy's house, and he and another one of my friends, Tony from Fort Wayne, he goes by Tone. So Tone and Dirty Randy pulled me aside and said, "Hey, man, have you ever thought about doing a podcast?" I was like, "No, I haven't. I don't know if I'd be good at that. That's a tall task." And Tone was he was pushing me. He was like, "You really should try it. People do it on YouTube all the time. It's a lot of fun." And podcasting really took off from that point. It was already starting to become a big thing, but it really wasn't. It's huge now. I mean, everybody has a podcast. Anybody and everybody has a podcast. I wish I would have started earlier because I could have been out in front of this. Everybody has one now, and they're a lot of fun to listen to. I hope this show has been fun for you guys to listen to as well. So that's where I got started, and then I came down here and I got in touch with Carey Club and WCCR Purdue, and they were very happy to hear that I wanted to do a sports show. They'd never had a sports show before, and they'd never had a talk show. We have 15 shows throughout the week in this studio. So the TuneIn runs 24/7. This station that you're listening to me on live, students, it runs 24/7. And I probably should have helped promote this stuff earlier. I do kind of feel bad about that because there's a lot of really good shows that play throughout the day and the week here at WCCR Purdue. We have show hosts who come in. Some of them do, some of them just DJ. Some of them play their own music. Some of them play just music they like. Some of them do a little bit of talking and a little bit of back and forth in between their songs. But I recommend at any time, especially in the evening, there's always almost a show on. Flip on WCCR Purdue and see what they're listening to. There's a lot of different music. Some music I don't really know or don't really like all that much, but it's just different. If you need to get away from your Spotify and your Pandora and just let somebody else decide what you're going to listen to, I recommend you check it out because there's a lot of really good hosts. And then you go outside of Purdue and there's Wiley Radio. They have their own station. I think they have close to 30 shows. Hillenbrand has a station where they do shows. Earhart has a station. I think there's 6 student radio stations on Purdue's campus, and I believe there's over 100 show hosts. And we had our end of the year meeting wrap up last night, and I'm honored to say thanks to all of you live listeners here around the campus and around Purdue that we were the top show of the semester anywhere. Any Purdue student radio show, over all 100, we had the most listeners. First time, we had been pretty strong leading WCCR Purdue at Carey Club, but we made it to the top, and we topped out last week. It was my highest listening group yet, and I owe some thanks to Tommy Barrett for that. There's no doubt about it because there is a Tommy Barrett effect, and that's through him. I gotta get the official number because I'm forgetful. I know I wrote it down somewhere. But anyways, yeah. 2,643 listeners. That was our peak during that live show. Thank you. This puts us at the top, and I'm hopefully everybody had fun, and we'll be back next year better than ever. Special thanks to the Brainy Bunch, the guys who work in the back. They work hard. Eric, the roommate, Harry, Mike from Huntertown, Bob from Cromwell, always giving me great content throughout the weeks. Loyal listeners back home. My mom always listens on the podcast no matter what. Mitch from Indiana, also a great listener. Tony from Texas, always tunes in. My interview guests for the year, Austin Mack from Ohio State, The Godfather live from Vegas, Brett Douglas from Purdue Athletics, Daniel Goldberg from Purdue Athletics, Jerry Palm from CBS, Tommy Barrett from ESPN. It's been a crazy year, and to have all these people on has been amazing. Dirty Randy and the boys for the music. We'll be back next year with hopefully some new music to help keep his career going because he's a very talented artist and he's got a talented group behind him. So special thanks to all those people and for everybody who listens throughout the week on the podcast and live on the show. You guys make this show happen. I'd love to do like a get-together. Maybe we'll start out next year with a little get-together after a show one day. Just pick a night, head out to one of the bars on campus or one of the restaurants on campus and just watch some sports and do a little meet and greet. Because I want to put some faces to these names that I see in my emails and in my mentions because you guys are a lot of fun. I hope this has been like a week, an hour of release for everybody throughout their weeks where they can just listen to some sports talk, some music, some pop culture, and just watch me make a fool of myself because I just love doing it. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to the show. Number one, I mean, it's hard for me to like put it to words because it just doesn't make sense to me. You guys make it happen. I don't know why you do it, but you do. And have a great summer. Enjoy your internships. Enjoy your jobs. Enjoy your traveling. Enjoy your time with your family, friends, and loved ones. We'll be back better than ever next year for another season of Next Point Wins. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Without you, there is no me, but with us, there's we. Have a great summer. Welcome to Next Point Wins, down here in the turntable room. I'm your host, Matt Julian. I'd like to hello and welcome to Next Point Wins. Students here at Purdue University, listeners around the country, thanks for coming in. Take off your shoes, stay a while. We got a full hour of sports talk.